Good evening. Hello, young leaders. My name is Iffah Atqa, and I'm going to be the host for today's webinar. Please turn off your camera first. Welcome, all participants, volunteers, and speakers in webinar and awarding ceremony of campaign of youth. First of all, I would like to say thank you to our partner, ACILND, Indorelawan.org, International Millennials Project, Pemuda Peduli Lingkungan Asri dan Bersih Nusa Tenggara Timur, SCOS International Youth Ambassadors, Sejuta Cita App, and Young Interfaith Peacemaker Community YIPC. Here are a few reminders for tonight's event. Please fill out the Google form posted on our chat box to receive your certificates and get the latest news from us. And if you have any question for our speakers, please type it in the chat box and we will answering your question in a Q&A session. And don't forget, you can post a story or Instagram story during this webinar and tag us on your Instagram account. And then please kindly set your Zoom name. Okay. Thank you very much for your attending, guys, volunteers, and participants. For your information, today's event is our fourth event and the fifth Youth in Action webinar series. And the theme of this event is Youth in Action for Empowering Youth in a Post-Pandemic Recovery. Okay, let's start this wonderful evening by listening to the opening speech from our project manager, Aldi Fauzan Akbar. And Aldi, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Iffah. Greetings, youth speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank you to every one of you for being here today. We are very pleased to welcome you on Young Southeast Asia Youth in Action for 2021. Before we get started, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all of you who generously help us make this event come together to become a success. The youth speakers and moderator, my dear friends Elivia, Mariam, and Artha, organization partners, and all young Southeast Asia members, we couldn't have done this without you. The webinar title is Empowering Youth in Post-Pandemic Recovery. The meaning of this title is that in this post-pandemic recovery, we as part of youth generation need to be empowered and motivated to make our earth more sustainable and get back to the way it was supposed to be. The first speaker would like to share with you about her experience during pandemic and also her experience as part of young interfaith peacemaker community in Indonesia. And then the second speaker would like to share about her activities and experiences as well as the ambassador of Black Sea Young, and also how important it is to volunteer yourself as part of something, because it's not only for them who need our help, but also for us, for our mental and skill development. Youth in Action 4 is special because it is part of the awarding session to celebrate 195 volunteers from 24 countries of Asia and Africa that participated in the campaign of youth program from 6 to 21st November 2021. Campaign of Youth is the brand new program by YIPC to empower young people so that they can directly take part on environmental issues that we are facing today in the recovery time of post-pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to take too much of your time, so I would like to give a warm welcome to you from YIPC. Do enjoy the event, and please ask through the chat box during the presentation, and thank you very much for your sincere attention. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Aldi. The next one, we will go to our webinar, the Youth in Action for Empowering Youth in Post-Pandemic Recovery. Okay, I would like to introduce Our moderator, Artha Lucya Siahaan. Artha Siahaan works as Junior Statistician Analyst for Statistic Indonesia-East Nusa Tenggara office. She graduated from STIS Polytechnic of Statistics Jakarta in 2017, whose thesis was about the comparison of input-output methods and forecasting contribution of non-oil and gas manufacturing industry to national export. She was a member of Statistician English Society (SES) in, in our college and was a 4 times participant in Battle of Brain competition held by ALSA University of Indonesia, where each team answering questions about general knowledge within the scope of national and international social, political, economic, law, environment, and cultural issues. She was once a volunteer in Independence Day celebration 2018 held by Jendela Atambua in Atambua community, East Nusa Tenggara. She is really passionate about official statistics and regional economics and has written publication about COVID-19 in Nusa Tenggara, in East Nusa Tenggara. Okay, young leaders, please welcome Artha Siahaan. Artha Siahaan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Iffah, for the opportunity. Before introducing the speakers and young CEA, I would like to share everyone a quote from Jacinda Ardern, one of the best leaders in the world to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic in her country, New Zealand, which she stated, "COVID-19 highlights how truly interdependent we all are, how reliant we are on cooperation, communication, and compassion to successfully combat the virus. It highlights how important it is that we work together for a sustainable recovery that delivers for our economies and our planet." Greetings, good day, and good evening to the honorable speakers, Young Southeast Asia Organizing Committee, and wonderful audience. First of all, I would like to welcome you all to the 4th webinar of Youth in Action organized by Young Southeast Asia. We do hope everyone here is in a healthy condition. My name is Artha Lucya Siahaan, and you can call me Artha. And tonight, I will serve you as a moderator of the 4th webinar of Youth in Action with a topic of empowering youth in post-pandemic recovery. Young CEA are a team of young hopeful change makers from Southeast Asia, and they are on a mission to create a better place for everyone to live in. The Young CEA project focuses on SDG 13 climate action. The members met during a Sustainable Development Conference earlier this year, and we have been in touch ever since. The Youth in Action series designed to educate the youth on to many ways they can create a better world in this post-pandemic era with a focus on sustainable development goals, climate change, and climate action. Today's event is special because it is part of awarding session to celebrate 195 volunteers from 24 countries of Asia and Africa that participate on campaign of youth program from 6 to 21st November 2021. Campaign of Youth is the brand new program by Young CEA to empower young people so that they can directly take part of environmental issues that we are facing together in the recovery time of post-pandemic. And now, to start of today's webinar, we would like to introduce you our first speaker, Elivia from Indonesia. Elif is a facilitator of Young Interfaith Peacemaker community, or YIPC Indonesia. Elif studies international relations with topic-based study, peace and conflict issues. She is currently finishing her undergraduate thesis on interfaith post-memory. Her interest in interfaith issues is expressed by being involved in Young Interfaith Peacemaker community Indonesia, in which she became a facilitator in August this year. Occasionally, Elif draws both for fun and publication. She took part in illustrating a reflection of nonviolence and a design in 1965 post-memory. There will be a question and answer after each speaker has done their presentation. So, dear participant, you may want to prepare your questions and send it to the chat box once we open the Q&A session. So, Elif, time is yours.
Right, hi everyone. So as introduced, my name is Elif and I'm from Indonesia. I'm a facilitator of the Interfaith Peacemaker community, and it's such a nice opportunity to meet you all. All right, today we talk about empowering youth in post-pandemic recovery. But before we talk about the whole things about the post-pandemic recovery, I believe that in volunteerism, volunteer is very important. So before we talk about those things, I want to ask you one of the question. Please, next. How are you during the pandemic? Because youth here will be the volunteer in the post-pandemic recovery. So this basic question is very important to make sure that everyone has been checked on themselves. So I think that we can reflect on ourselves, how pandemic affect us. And as for me, please next. This is my pandemic experience. I study in Yogyakarta. So my main activities are mostly in Yogyakarta, but because of pandemics, I had to return to my hometown 2 hours away from Yogyakarta, and everything changed to me. My college is in a big city with much better accessibility, but because of I have to return to a small town, my pandemic experience because very much different. One of the major issues that I highlight was during the very first pandemic, the very first weeks of pandemics, when I realized that my little town didn't have adequate mental health facilities while I was diagnosed with panic disorder. So it was a very major issue that I struggled with, because in my college there is a free psychologist facility that every student can access. But once I returned to my home, I couldn't access it. It was very challenging for me. And when I was diagnosed COVID-19 1 year ago, I realized that the healthcare system in my area is very much inadequate. So the PCR was announced the result 14 days later. So it was, I don't think that it was very much influential for me. I mean, the quarantine already ended when the result come out. So it was very challenging as well for me. And also, the major faith system in my neighborhood affect how I access those things like the healthcare system and the mental health issue. And of course, like there are hoax spreading in my neighborhood, and that the elders hold a very significant powers that it affect the policy in my neighborhood. And all of the things that I experienced made me reflect that the personal is the international. I quote this from Cynthia Enloe, the writer of Banana, Beach, and Bases, if I'm not mistaken. It's basically an international relations book on feminism. It means that something that happens internationally also happens to me personally. And to me, the pandemic really changed, really affect my life overall. Next. And because of those pandemic experience, I believe that before we change something big, we need to change what happened inside. Because I believe that envisioning post-pandemic recovery is not separable from someone's experience during the pandemic. And next. It's related with the 7 peace values of YIPC. So let me introduce YIPC to you all. YIPC stands for Young Interfaith Peacemaker Community in Indonesia. It is a youth community, consists of Muslim and Christian members, which address interfaith issue in Indonesia. We believe that interfaith issue can be addressed through interfaith dialogue instead of debate. And we believe that everything, the way we address should be intersectional. And because of that intersectionality, we believe that everyone's experience matters. And it's related to our 7 peace values, which we start with making peace with self. Why making peace with self is very important? Because once we have peace within ourselves, once we have confidence within ourselves, and we can transform the conflict within us, we will be able to challenge the issue in a larger community. All right, yeah, so before we make peace, before we make a greater peace in our larger community, we believe that making peace with self is very important, and that those big things that affect us should be addressed by addressing ourselves first. And once we are able to make peace with ourselves, we move to other things. In YIPC, it's really important to address prejudice, especially among Christian and Muslims, to clarify the prejudice. And then next, we will go to the celebrating the diversity. We believe that even Christians or Muslims are not one single entity. It's because because we take from our intersectional approach, we believe that even each individual is unique individual. So it's really important to make sure that to know that everyone, the diversity in each person can be addressed and respected. And if we have conflict, we can face it without violence. And then next, we believe that we are part of the nature. So environmental peace is very much important for us to make sure that all our interfaith activity can be conducted sustainably. And because we are an interfaith community, we believe that it's very much related to our relations with God. So making peace with God becomes the next peace value. And the next, we believe in reconciliation by apologizing and forgiving. Next. All right, those peace values are introduced during student interfaith peace camp, where we can meet the new members, as well as to introduce YIPC to the public. But beside those peace camp, we also have lots of activities as well. Well, the pandemic, of course, affects how we interact. So lots of our recent activities are conducted virtually. For example, in the left side of your screen, you can see that there is this webinar that the sign language translator to make sure that our webinar can be accessed by everyone and make it more inclusive. And then the next, YIPC is a community that has various chapters in lots of regions in Indonesia. And one of the chapter, which is the East Java chapter, make a podcast to regularly to spread the peace values and reflections for ourselves. And then the next, we also have a workshop on journalism. We believe that journalism is very important to spread peace, because we perceive that the current journalism is not peaceful enough. It will be a very different topic to talk about, but in general, we want to transform that the journalism in our mainstream media can be transformed to accommodate peace and conflict in us. So virtually or face-to-face, our main concern is to build a safe space. Next. Not only talking about those big things that exist in us, we also connect with ourselves by having conversational dialogue, something that is more daily and relate to us. So in the left side of the screen, you can see that we have an English club. It's a relatively small club where everyone can have a chance to speak. And we will reflect on anything with the theme that we already decided. For example, because this club was conducted during Independence Day, we talk about how we reflect Indonesians' Independence Day, and we also have rainers in the club. And then the next we have Saturday night club where we will hang out virtually in a more laid back manner. So we only play game and chit chats and share our thoughts, just something very much conversational. And the next. This is our signature program. We have a program called scriptural reasoning. We adopt it from some Cambridge scholars who formulate this interfaith dialogue through reading scripture. Originally, there are 3 scriptures to be discussed from Abrahamic religions: the Torah, the Bible, and the Quran. But because YIPC only has 2 major faith in our members, we mainly talk about Bible and Quran. So it will be conducted by having a relatively small group, and then it will be facilitated by 1 person, and we will make sure that in that small forum there are Christian and Muslim members. Then we will read the scripture roughly. Usually we will pick one topic and pick verses related to that topic, and then we will read the original text if someone can read it. Also followed by the translation, and then we will have like 3 until 5 minutes to reflect on what we already read. And we will share our reflections. Mainly, we will talk about 3 things. First, how God is depicted in that scripture. Second, how human is depicted in that scripture. And then the third, what kind of tangible action we can do after the reflection that we did. So that's so far how we conduct our interfaith peace through peace dialogue. Everything is conducted by youth. And for the post-pandemic recovery, we envision that it will be very good if we have more offline meetings, because online meetings are challenging for us personally because we cannot meet face to face. But of course, our first concern is to make sure that empathy becomes the main aspect that we enforce, because we believe that pandemic affects us greatly. Of course, not everyone has the same experiences. So we believe that by addressing those intersectional experience through empathy and through dialogue instead of debate, we believe that those post-pandemic recovery can be achieved. And of course, through volunteerism, because this is a community that we understand that everyone in community has different business. Some studies, some has work, some has another business to make sure that they can carry on their lives. And we make sure that everyone can feel belong to this community. We created safe space where everyone will not judge each other, but instead to understand each other. And yeah, enforce that empathy because of those experiences that already shaped us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elif. That was an insightful information. We continue to Q&A sections. You can write your question, guys, in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and asking your question directly to the speakers. While we are waiting for the one who will be raised hand and the question in the chat box, I will asking you my question, Elif. If you have the opportunity to express your aspirations to the government, what are you going to tell to the government to overcome your COVID-19 in your neighborhood?
I think it will be a very complex aspirations to me because COVID-19 affects various sectors of our lives, not only economics, not only health, but also, of course, the environment. We can see that the use of masks also increased, and this is also my personal reflection that more organic waste are produced in one household because we need to carry on our lives through food. And I realized that my neighborhood's waste management is still so poor. Not to mention that this waste management also related to our overall healthcare system. So I think that there should be like lots of things that I want to address. But first and foremost, I want to make sure that the youth can express their voices, because in my experience, it's very hard for youth to show their aspiration, mainly because even in the smallest unit of our community, the community is still dominated by the elders, that only the elders' opinions matter, but the youth doesn't really have voices. So I want to make sure that it can be a more inclusive space where everyone can voice out what they believe.
Okay, thank you, Elif. I think we already have some questions. The first one from Adi from East Nusa Tenggara. The question is, what is the most challenging thing you face trying to spread the peace through journalism? As we know that in journalism, bad news is good news.
Yes, thank you for the question. I think that one of the most challenging issue is that to make sure that we can have a more thorough conflict analysis. Because when we read the news in the mainstream media, not all media express that more thoroughly. They usually just have this long title, and then the content will be just the longer version of the title, in my opinion. So when they cover conflict, they only cover that. They only cover what's on the surface. It's not thoroughly that we can understand what's going on, what's the underlying cause, and that becomes challenging because in conflict, not everyone can be open about what's happening, and of course it takes time. So comparing to that journalism that only report the longer version of their title, to cover a more thorough conflict analysis in the news is takes more time. So when it comes to the public, it's easier to access those news instead of the one that is more let's say takes hard on the piece.
Thank you, Elif. The second question comes from Boakai M. Sharif from Liberia. Do you have any plan of extending your program to Africa, especially Liberia, where young Muslims are being constantly marginalized and denied opportunities due to their religion?
Oh, that's a very important and interesting question. But so far, YIPC only works in Indonesia. But of course, feel free to contact us if you want a more, like cooperation between us and the youth in Liberia. We will be very open. And for your information, one of our partner initiatives of change works internationally, and one of the region that initiatives of change cover is Liberia. So I think that they have lots of chapters in various area of the world, and it covers Africa, like Kenya and Sudan, if I'm not mistaken. But of course, if you want to have a more to be connected with us in Indonesia and see how we address those interfaith issues through dialogue, we will be very welcome.
Thank you, Elif. I think there is someone who have raised his hand.
Yes.
From Irfan Dwi Junianto from Indonesia. The floor is yours, Irfan.
Hello, can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Yes,
everyone?
we can.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. Hello, Elif and everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you all. Okay, I want to ask to you, Elif, for all the presentation that you have given to us. So is there any tips for us as a youth to speak up about our aspiration, while, as we all know, that the elders still dominate this society? Thank you.
That was the thing that I want to strategically think, because I would say that I live in Java, and most of people in my area are Muslim. They're Japanese, and there are some barriers that elders matter than the youth. But so far, that we of course have youth organizations such as Karang Taruna and the equivalent of that. I believe that if it's empowered more thoroughly, we can connect with the youth and empower that and amplify our voices. But so far, the existing structure and culture in our community still doesn't give a more way for the youth. So I don't know, maybe I need to think about it more thoroughly and strategically. But of course, that connecting with more youth and make organization can be very helpful to make sure that we are visible and audible. I don't know if that helps and answer your question.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elif.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Irfan. The next question. There is another person to raise hand. Please, Asa Andrews Lukamata from Zambia. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Looking at the past pandemic in our country, most of the people are taking it so political, and then there is a thing where they are saying we can take the vaccine. How can your organization partner with Zambian organization in order to ensure there is adequate sensitization in our country? Thank you.
Sorry, can you repeat the last sentences? It was not audible for me.
I said, how can your organization partner with Zambian organization to ensure there is adequate sensitization on the issue of how to keep up with the life after the pandemic and with the ongoing pandemic?
Oh, all right. I think that I couldn't answer that for Zambia specifically because we have different contexts, of course. But our main template, our main receipt was that we need to address that from our own experience at first, because our experience is shaped by what happens internationally and what happens in the society, and that was how we can analyze how those things that affect us can be addressed. I don't know, maybe you can tell what happened in Zambia and how is your experience. And I think that that was the very first step to reflect on those existing structural things that affect you.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah.
In Zambia, what is happening exactly is many young people, the youths, and also other people shunning away from taking the vaccine, saying it's not working, and others that are taking the vaccine, they are saying they are ending up ill and so on. So looking at this thing, at times there is an increase in the people that are affected with the COVID-19 and so on. And then that's why I was asking to say, how can your organization partner with Zambian organization to ensure to say we sensitize on the importance of vaccine in Zambia?
I'm not sure about the vaccination issue and whatsoever, but our community, of course, will welcome everyone who wants to partner with us in interfaith dialogue and peace building. If it's related in some ways, we can talk about it. We can have a reflection together to make sure that youth all over the world can be connected and have post-pandemic recovery together. How does that sound for you? You know, like we have different contexts in Zambia and Indonesia. We have different experience that you know, I cannot just tell you to do these things and to do this that because we have a very different experience, and I don't think that, you know, dictating you with my own experience will be very much suitable for you because of those different contexts. But if you want to partner with us for interfaith dialogue and where we can learn with each other, we are welcome to have partnership with you, of course. You can always contact us via Instagram at yipc.indonesia or at yipc.center.
All right, thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay, I think we go to the next question. Yeah, talking about peace building through interfaith dialogue, do you initiative also consider other cultural beliefs that sometimes act as a barrier to peace building? It is come from Sierra Leone. It is come from James from Sierra Leone.
Right, that's a very interesting question. Yes, we also talk about that roughly because those cultural beliefs affect us personally, and of course affect us in a larger community. So in our community, we don't only talk about how religion, how our faith can be a way for peace building, but we also talk about things like how we address the, for example, violence first, or for example, the violent beliefs that underlies how our society works. And of course, we also talked about how our, ethnicity, for example, or our nationality, for example, affect us to bridge the peace. Because, you know, in YIPC, there are lots of people from different ethnicities. For example, I am a Japanese, but there are also members who are Chinese, the members who come from Batak land, and there are some more others, Padang, Sunda, and those ethnicities that live in Indonesia. So we talk about it roughly, and whenever we have specific programs in specific area, like for example, the student interfaith peace camp, we address it by understanding how the cultural belief works in certain area to make sure that it's suitable with the context and we can address it non-violently.
Okay, thank you, Elif. I think Carl Britain is already raised hand.
Yeah, thank you very much for the earlier presentation. So concerning the challenges, I wanted to ask about whether religion not being a barrier to you, and then how do you guys also mobilize funds in, you know, in your activities, as in how to facilitate your activities and how you go about things in your organization? Yes.
Oh, all right. Thank you for your question. Actually, I'm not in charge of the financial stuff, so I cannot explain it more specifically because but for your but to give you a more descriptive story, we have to you know two bodies. Let's say one of the community which is established like 9 years ago, and the other one is the let's say the One Nation, which is established recently to support the community. So we usually send proposals to donors, but most of our activity within the community are voluntarily, and yeah, we just do it. Most of us, yeah, most of the time we do it just without any money, because our main concern is to make sure that we can have a safe space instead of making something more sophisticated. But of course, we work towards making things, making things sophisticated in some ways, which requires more money. And the people within the foundation, the YIP Center, will work for that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
The next question comes from Samaila Idris Nijinyawa from Nigeria. Issue of pandemics in so many countries, most especially African countries, are political oriented. It's used as instrument of promoting corruption. How can youth kick against this act?
Same, our pandemic becomes a kind of instrument for corruption. And whenever you check the Instagram or Twitter or any news portal, there are many things related how the politics makes the pandemic worse. But so far, with our limitations, we work by making sure that everyone can have a safe space, one, and then we exchange informations on, for example, vaccination or the shelters we can use for quarantine, and also we did some charity for the people in marginalized community who don't have access to healthcare system. And we make lots of partnerships with various organizations in our area. We connect with more communities, with more organizations, to strengthen each other, to make sure that we are resilient during the pandemic. But to let's say overthrow the oligarchy, or to eradicate the corruption that happens like far away from us, where we cannot have access for, it will be a very long things that we need to think about strategically, I believe.
Thank you, Elif. I think one last question comes from Sailiu, who is raising hand now. Sailiu, can you asking directly to Elif? The time is yours.
All right.
Hello, I am saying that I am the country director for Art Regenerative Sierra Leone NGO. We are on economic tree planting and regenerative agriculture. So now my question is, how did your organization put platform to connect with some organization in this part of the world, especially West Africa, for us to have a win-win situation on your mission statement?
Oh, all right. I understand your question. So far, YIPC in general hasn't had any connection with any organization in Africa, but our partner community initiatives of change already expanded their works in African countries. So maybe that can be one of our way to connect with youth in Africa. But so far we haven't got any, cooperation with the youth in Africa, and we're excited to looking forward to it. But for platform,
Okay.
you can always contact us on Instagram. We have Instagram at YIPC.Indonesia as well as at YIPC.Center. You can always contact us from that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm so sorry that was the last question from Elif because the time limitation. Now the question and answer has elapsed from our first speaker. Let me share everyone the conclusion of our webinar from Elif. As Elif has explained before, she faced several difficulties during the pandemic, like us too. Accessibility issues was the major issue while she faced while she stayed at home. Poor access to mental health facilities greatly affected her. Even at times she was diagnosed COVID-19 positive. When she experienced it, she realized that her area specifically had poor healthcare system and it was inseparable from the major issue in her neighborhood. YIPC ID, or Young Interfaith Peacemaker Country, which Elif is a facilitator there, is a youth community consists of Muslim and Christian youth in Indonesia. YIPC addresses the interfaith issue in Indonesia with intersectional approach through interfaith dialogue and peace education. And the 7 peace values of YIPC are: first, making peace with self; the second one, addressing prejudice; the third one, celebrating diversity; the fourth one, conflict without violence; the fifth one, environmental peace; the sixth one is making peace with God; and the last one is apologizing and forgiving. Virtually or face-to-face, YIPC's main concern is to build a safe space. One of the activities to build a safe space in YIPC is to discuss scripture, or called scriptural reasoning. We are moving on to the polling in which the host will be conducting it. Iffah, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for Artha and Elif. Young leaders, please fill out the poll. Please answer the pop-up question on your screen. There will be 7 questions. The question is about what continent are you from, and then how old are you? What do you do for a living? Do you know about Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs? Do you know the SDG 13 about focusing climate action? Where did you know about this webinar? Are you excited to join our next event? Okay, let's see. Most of the participants are from Asia. About 80% of participants. And the age, how old are you? About 37% in the range of age 22 to 26 years old. And most of the participants are students, 61%. But there are also the researchers for 8%. And most of you know about the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. And 77% know about the SDG 13, focuses on climate action. And you know about this webinar, most of you know this webinar from social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, about 58%. But it also from friends and family. And the last one, are you excited to join our next event? Of course, 70% will 70% feel really excited to join our next event. Go to the next session of webinar. Please, Artha.
Thank you, Iffah, for conducting the polling. Now we are entering the second topic of today's session by our second speaker, Mariam Avakova from Georgia. Mariam is the UN COP26 Glasgow delegate, Black Sea Young Ambassador, and COY16 country coordinator Georgia. Mariam is from Black Sea country and holds a Master of Science in Natural Resources with interest in social entrepreneurship, natural science, technology, digital media, sustainability, networking, and other areas. Mariam has participated and raised her voice at a number of high-level local and international conferences and has spent the last 10 years volunteering and meaningfully contributing to non-profitable, non-formal education initiative. And among other things, she has worked as a journalist, a youth project manager, an international project coordinator, a youth trainer and a leader, a camp counselor and a mentor, a judge, etc. Surprisingly, she has done studies on wolves and human conflict in Java Keti, one of the Georgia's most difficult regions. She proudly managed a family-based urban nursery to grow their own Coffea arabica tree at home, which is currently under conservation discussion among scientists. She is a member of the Digital Communication Network Erasmus programs, Think Young, Women in Tech Network, Diamond Challenge, Seaside, Black Sea Connect, Black Sea Forum, and other organizations and projects. After joining Black Sea Connect and UNCOY16 Glasgow, she became active in promoting through her actions the plastic new economy approach that can save the planet from plastic waste. In response to climate change and rethinkable entrepreneurship, Mariam, one of the Black Sea Young Ambassadors, has challenged herself by donating 100 bottles to a Tene company and gaining an eco-friendly USB cable to reduce plastic pollution. Remember, everybody, to take a note and prepare your question for our next Q&A sessions. So, without any further ado, Mariam, the time is yours.
Thank you, dear Artha, for a very brief and nice introduction. It was a pleasure to listen to you. And hello, everyone who is attending here, dear participants and dear co-colleague speakers. I'm gonna to present you how simple, great opportunities can foster your career and where you would like to be and design your life. Here have been mentioned about this next slide about that I'm younger Black Sea ambassador, and what it is. We as Black Sea young ambassador, you can see the who we are. We are from Eastern Partnership countries and from Black Sea, exactly. And our mission is to enhance the visibility and action of the Blue Growth Initiative for research and innovation in the Black Sea. As well, we want to, and our mission to promote the goals of the SRIA and advocating for especially blue growth and blue economy in the Black Sea. Despite of it, we at the same time trying to empower ocean engaged citizens for the clean, plastic-free, better valued Black Sea, and as well as the future and next generation, we are pledged to be the voice of the Black Sea by sharing our findings with the Black Sea community and beyond. Is next, and as the Black Sea young ambassadors, it gave us different opportunities, and even we are making our impact on the global level and on the local level. Down on the picture, you can see it's my colleague from Georgia, Salome Hukobaidze, and we together had the nice meeting with the European Union ambassador in Georgia, and we discussed about our initiative and got support from them. At the same time, we was actively engaged in plastic-free Black Sea campaign, and we even engaged in different hours skill boosting trainings for our work. And another good opportunity was that we was engaged and we have launched the Black Tea Time with youth, which we all time connect with high level commissioners, people from European Union, stakeholders, and discuss about our issues. At the same time, have been here mentioned about the COI 16. Please next slide. COI 16, it is if you followed the later news, in Glasgow there was the big COP26 party conference, and the COI is the pre-conference which was preparing young generation to be ready to attend and in COP26 and discuss. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go there and participate in person, but I have been involved virtually fully, and who was active involved, they was able to participate in this pandemic, and this is like post-pandemic time in Glasgow, and make our voice heard about the climate change impact of youth climate change impact and the mitigation. And what I have been done, what the opportunity gave me, the not only the recognition what I am doing based on my academic degree or my passion. Please next. I also was able to make a voice toward our ambassadors in Georgia during PLAC COI 16 conference. Please next slide after this. And even I was able to connect the virtual COI lecture, talk with one of the Georgian representative, Sandro, who just doing a great things. I discovered his company few months ago. They are doing USB cables out of the melted plastics, and they are collecting the plastic and recycled just to, and their action, because I am mostly patient, as it mentioned, about the plastic new economy, because if you really think, even me, I cannot say fully no to using the polyethylene or plastic, because we are addicted, but we have to find a new way how to use it and recycle it in a more valuable impact for our economy. And here is new economy, plastic new economy approach is coming. And and despite of it, I was able to connect with different universities, and even connected for the new statement which have been presenting to the Glasgow, and it's available on the page of COI 16. Why I'm telling this? Despite knowing this, the person who always thinks that if I am not participate in, so my voice can be lost, because I have the vision, I can help, and while I have to sit on my armchair, and just look what other people do, I want to participate and do it myself. That's why when the COVID pandemic started, I have joined the Red Cross here, and as a team leader, and we was involved in charity, and we did a lot of things. And so more activities, and how it was done, and why. I always conducted to the next slide, please, volunteer. Look now on this slide. This is the screen, and please next. And this is the screen, if you look it, and if you will see on the screen the word volunteer, what it will associate it with you. For me, it's when you're able to build your resume, you can be connected, networking, reduce risk of your heart disease, and so on. And I will return to the volunteer topic, but first you have to remember, please next slide, when you are involved as a volunteer, you have a chance to be touched to feed fish for a lifetime. While when we are working and we don't want to participate in everything, we are getting the resource, we are getting something which can feed us for one day or for 1 month or year. But then when we have limited and finished, we cannot take care about this. This is why you have to see that volunteer opportunities is around to be there as well, the selfish, but in a positive way, because you can boost your professionalism and fill your own needs. And even it is a very good thing for the skill bank. You can find yourself and design your life you want, but you have to remember first that when you are doing volunteer, you have to be volunteer with purpose and don't afraid to try new things. And actually, please next, again, it's about volunteer. Some people think that volunteer is like a free labor job and they don't take advantage of it. No, it's really not like this, because please next slide. And if this is like being a volunteer is for you the opportunity to make the impact where you want, just be part of it rather than sit on in your like comfort zone place and enjoy while other people doing something, because this can be your transformative experience, which reminds that we are human and we not only have to be think of ourselves. Maybe it's not touching me, it's not about me, but I have to remember that there is someone who can be affected by that, and if I have the vision on take care of that to solve it, and this is can make you social as well. You are going and to commit your energy, and you are gaining different skills, incredible characters you can get from doing these activities, and even so on. I will return deeply to this. Well, I decided actually I'm the person who don't like to use the text on slides, but it is for those if someone will return later to video and they will be able to read. It's about inclusivity. I decided to put it even if someone will not well understand the English here, it is for them. So this is why I'm putting a lot of text. And yeah, please next slide. I would like to tell that when you think about the volunteer, you have to be aware what the volunteer is, because some people think, okay, you are wasting your time, it's fun, or someone. No, volunteer is kind of job which is not paid, but I will share with you some at the end the links where volunteer is one paid by a small amount for the life important things, because volunteers sometimes, not sometimes but often, volunteers do the same job as the other employees, even they do better than other employees and do more, because they are so patient to absorb all the information they are getting from. And there is the five type of volunteers that I would like to highlight. When you have the skills and the talents and you can share it to others, it's but the skill based. For example, you are able to teach English, you can go to the community, for example to refugee community, and teach them English language by volunteering and get the, for example, teaching skills for you and recognition at the same time. Because you know, I love the people like me who says, okay, I can do, but when you say that you can do, you have to show it. And during this kind of enthusiastic philanthropist way, it's very great recognition you can get. There's a public advocacy. Please look at around of you and think there is some issue which you didn't like or even you don't like now, but would you like to be involved or change? You have this idea, but how you can do? So there can be some organization, or you can create the voluntary the group of yourself and make these actions to the social or civil injustice for the positive changes. And they are the non-profit charity. Mostly it's about helping the board member or organizations to be successful. Mostly it is done by the very experienced people who already do mentorship or do coaching and even sponsorship for the organization. And one of which I like very much, and it is not not everyone is capable to, when you are able to do person to person, like direct communication and volunteers. For example, it's a person to person, it's related to skill based very close. But here is different as well. For example, like Red Cross first aid, when you are helping someone to personally, or even you know the one person who need help directly or improve some skills and you are going to them, it's not like a group work. And there is a one interesting one that every one of us do. Me and I am believe you as well who are listening now to me, and part of it you do it, and you maybe didn't realize it, that we all our every day we are doing different non-skill based community volunteering. What does it mean? When you are doing something that it will be directly benefited and indirectly with the other people. Like for example, you are going, you see the dirty parts and you are cleaning it. Of course, this will be like you don't give the skills to someone, but you invest in the community for their, for example, and for the earth. Like for example, COVID-19 charity, as I did, it was like team who was trying to raise up like different needed resources like food or other stuff like medicines, and with the people who benefited from them, they did not know who we are, but because we did different, but we put this skills, our skills to the action, but it was for them like a service. And how you can do, please next slide. And what volunteer can do for you, or how does it work? And do you remember my previous slide about the fish, that teaching the how to feed is more better for your life experience, because it will feed you total whole your life, or like when you get fish for one day and eat and so on. So like do you have to be selfish? It's not a bad one if you are taking from this perspective, because you have to think that there is nothing happening for us, for you, without your participation, without you. And how it works, I separately separate there by dots, by clicks and so on, just to highlight that for like volunteering, it's a great chance for those who have no network, who just a new graduate of schools, of university, and want to say, okay guys, I have to do, I graduated, but where is your professionalism? Because some people's asking you 5 year, 10 year, even in my country Georgia, and here how you can boost your professionalism, feel your own needs, because we all, when we are starting our career, we have our needs. We are not very like expert of everything. And okay, there are some companies who are charging money for people to teach this, but even you do not get, because you needed to do in a practical way. And this is how volunteers coming. Even some people paying in for internships. Why? When you can do voluntarily for the organization, offer them, push them, and ask that, okay, I'm gonna to help you free, but you, I will gain this. And just it's like a deal when you are making volunteer with some companies, or even you are volunteering yourself by creating the community. You always with your contribution, you are taking the change, and you are part of this change, and it is you can feel that you are important to community. It can build your self esteem. You can gain a new friends, even be involved in something new which you did not involve before. And even when you volunteer with purpose, I mentioned, you can make a professional life and be where you want to be. For example, as I today, because what I achieved today and what expertise I have today and what I'm contributing today, I achieved through the volunteering, and I will return to this experience and will tell you more. Because I find myself where when I started volunteering, I desired my life. I find what I want to do, because the life, if you look at your life, I hope you will agree with me, because it's not monotonical. There is a lot of things happening, and if the person is with the diverse thinking, open mind, they are passionate about a lot of things, and you can just hear opportunities coming to just do something and try you in a new way. And just remember one thing, If you want to do something, you're capable of it, or you would like to, don't hesitate to shake someone, to go, to ask. Just be responsible what you want to do and for your every action, because only responsibility will help you to gain all of the mentioned here benefits which you can do from volunteering, and be brave and wise to see it as a perspective rather than an unpaid job. And for example, now I'm going to tell about myself as I promised that it is. Please next slide. That what I today achieved, because I'm not coming from the a very rich family. Even I am from middle income family, and I have nobody around me who will help me to boost my skills or to show, okay, Mariam, you can do it, just go. And I was lucky or maybe successful to meet the people who just tell me, okay, Mariam, you can go and to volunteer. And I started my first volunteering officially in 2012. Please, the next slide go. And for example, today I am here for you. I am volunteering as well to share to use this experience. And because this volunteering became part of success of me, I would like to inspire you and share this experience. And while I have been growing in beautiful nation in Georgia, and I saw that, okay, I am talented, okay, I have a skills, but even people like me, my generation, but if they not active or they want to be someone without being active, you can't do nothing, because a lot of maybe barriers can be on your journey in developing countries, and this is very good when you are from developing countries and you are experienced in volunteership, because life always about opportunities, about our memories and so on. And I kind during the volunteer, okay, we all have this, but we need to practice and make from it real tools, like problem solving, maybe we are thinking, okay, I have a leadership skills. Okay, you have, but how you can prove it during this and get these tools, how to engage team, how to lead it, and so on. This is how I became the trainer, team member, counselor of the camps, and rank defense project. You know, all of I have achieved during it was took me 5 years to volunteer, and today what I gained through the first 5 years until 2016 I'm using today, and it helped me to be where I am today and even speak and raise my voice on the different level of the international or local conferences and be part of the main changes here, and created, as I told you, the pace for my journey to the new career. Even when you are doing volunteer and you are applying for internship, you always have the skills, and you can say, okay, it can be successful for internship and employment. Just remember it. And you as well. Sometimes people in especially in rural areas who don't have people who you can empower them, or they are feeling themselves like bad. This volunteering can build the sense of self-esteem, and it can be even emotional well-being for them to unlocking themselves, because you need to accomplish yourself and to build your individuality, because without personal strong individuality it will be hard to be someone you want to be and fight for positive changes, as we, for example, as I mentioned you on the Black Sea Young Ambassadors, COI 16 climate change coordinators did. Of course, we wasn't paid too much, but we achieved a lot. We was able to see, to speak, to engage, to push people to follow us and make them trust that we are doing meaningful action. Just remember, always when you are doing volunteer, do it with a meaningfully, just without it. And just remember, please next slide, yourself. When you graduated from school, what school gave you? Or if you are recently graduated from university and you wasn't active in your university project, Just this in your mind, highlight what you gained from it. Did you really get the, after finishing the school, the skills, how to live, how to make your career better, or after your university? Of course, I will say that in my case, if I wasn't active in parallel with my studies and wasn't involved from the beginning in different initiatives, approaches, I wouldn't, I think, I wouldn't be able to be who I am today. And even I'm not satisfied of myself. Just remember, never be satisfied where you are, because you have to be more than you are to be successful, and not to be a great person at the same time in your action and build your strong individuality. And especially I shared with you, you can see on the screen, this fantastic organization where you can approach and ask, find the good opportunities for yourself for the international project. And yes, one of the great chance of volunteering is you can feel you are global citizen. Whenever you can go, you can find organizations who want volunteers. And why I'm sharing this? For example, United Nations volunteers, they are offering virtual and in-person volunteers. You can approach them and you are gaining this really cool experience, which as well can boost your skills to maybe later join the United Nations team. And sometimes if you are attending a person, they also offer some kind of fee to you. European Solidarity Corps was the European Volunteer Service before. It's changed more, a bit, but it's so great opportunity, guys, because you are traveling abroad, you can do volunteer in any European country, or even host in organization. If you have organization, you are getting grant for them, and you even get a amount of money of it, like you are able to cover your accommodation, your personal needs, and even you have a small fee for you. And you know, sometimes people think that volunteering is free. Volunteering is not free. You're getting the benefit from it, not only for yourself, but you are giving to society. And such big organizations who recognize volunteership, they don't leave people behind, because they understand that in parallel with volunteer, people spending their money, their resources, why they are giving the money to them, just to engage people in the volunteer culture, because this volunteer culture can change the world. And you can feel the real citizen of the world as the, for example, SDGs, SDGs provided this mentality. And here is the one of give volunteers. It will be good for Asia countries, people like Green Tree there. I go overseas. It's a very huge platform where you can find different opportunities. Just I would like to say, search in Google, develop this Google Cloud searching skills. Just find the program you needed, and volunteer work, like volunteers abroad. This you can then Google it and find with this name. And Eurodesk is one of the big, huge platform where you can find internship, trainings, and so on, and involved in this. I know a lot of different web pages, but it is more trustful, and in this webinar I prefer to share with you the trustful links, mostly where you can approach directly. And I am gonna to share with you the one tips, and I think you can benefit from that if you will take the gumption of that in all your countries. Just I mentioned before, push your organization, embassy, and so on. In your own countries, look for the international conferences, international projects. Offer them to enjoy it, to NGOs, or even to the embassy program. And even if there's something happening, the international conferences and membership, I'm going to share with you this kind of kit, which is so useful for me. Look who is the part of this conference, which organization partner with them, who is the members, and check if there you'll find interest organization for you. So check about their opportunity to join them. This is, for example, how the COI16 is happened. Yeah, it will have been discovered during the pre-conference of the COP. And just when I followed what it is it's about, I saw they had the opportunity to join the team, and that's how I approached them and I joined them. I shared this my personal practice to like show you that if I could, if I can, you can too. There is no barrier. Just to remember that you can be uh, yourself, achieve everything without needs money or without need for example, high being from a very rich family or have the wealth, because with this kind of volunteer you can build your fundaments. And even if you want to do something and you don't have the money, it's one of the it is a great chance to yeah, it's fine totally, because it's happening with me too sometimes. And yeah, and with the volunteering you can see that you have the people and you can have this kind of, even one, I think, just try to with the leadership and boost your entrepreneurship skills, because it will help you in every direction. And yeah, and I would like to say you thank you, because today when I was speaking with you, thank you to young SIA team for inviting and giving me chance to share it with you. I think you will benefit from all this information. If I was too long, I apologize, because I think it can be useful for you later. And just, I think after refreshing your mind, you can take different new inspiration, because today when I was speaking with you and I saw how you are passionate, I took this inspiration for me too, and I got the benefit even from today's participating in this conference, in this speech. And thank you. And now I am open for questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Mariam. That was an insightful information. We continue to Q&A sections. You can write your question in the chat box, or you can raise hand and asking your question directly to the speaker. We already have several questions from Boakai M. Sherry from Liberia. How can we engage as a volunteer if we don't have people around us or originating from a poor family?
This is a very good question. Thank you. This I mentioned partly how you can to choose, because I also was in the shoes, and even now I am in the shoes of you. I am not a poor like a rich family. Even I am not like I had no everyone even today. What I used to do during that, I find the volunteer organizations in my country. There was a call and project, and I just wrote, "Hi, I want to volunteer." Just don't hesitate. Just approach to people. It is Bigambia. Yeah, hello Bigambia. Just approach to the local people, international one. Look the for calls which I shared you the links, and apply directly. You don't need someone. Of course, if you get someone, you are lucky one which help. But but the mainly good tools. Just be yourself. As I mentioned, be selfish. It's not a bad manner. Be selfish. Just be more enthusiastic and use from this like you want to guide this approach to people. For example, if you see the organization in your I don't know which organization in Cameroon mostly provide volunteering, but apply for them. Even just look for this United Nations volunteer and so on, because during applying to United Nations you don't need someone, you just apply. And I know what can be bigamia meaning this. I faced a lot of such kind of unequal treatment. Yeah, sometimes during the selection, people, if there is a not mature enough group, populism, nepotism is existed. But you have to remember, don't give up. Never be where you want. Remember that only you can be happy. You can make yourself happy. Nowhere, because people mostly don't take care of us in general. If they involved, if they don't see benefits and so on. This is why you have to remember that where is selfish coming. Help firstly yourself, and with the helping yourself, help others. Just gain this kind of knowledge, which is as well useful for me, because even when I want to do something, I directly push to the directors, to the managers, ask them, okay, guys, you know, maybe you have different team, but give me chance. Don't give up to convince them to open to use the doors, because when I reaching this, for example, when I wanted to be a Black Sea ambassador, wanted to call me because I wanted to do this new thing. So I could, and by joining this team, I was ready to put it in for my country, to bring benefits to my country and abroad, because I know I can do, but I wanted to have this kind of resource which I will make impact of that, because you know you have to be as well strongest person from inside. No any mandate, no any position or status make you stronger. If you are strong from inside and you are building your skills, then all this mandate you can, all this status which is you gain, this is in advance to help you to boost and just and invest your strength side of yourself, soft skills in the soft skill in actions, and as well help others, because some people is doing have the position but they don't take care of others. This is why you have to push to change this.
Okay. The next question, it is almost the same with the one I have asked before. The question is from Cahyadi Acil from Indonesia. Would you like, he like to ask about how people like us who lives in remote places can participate in international organization, because sometimes the only chance to participate is to donate money for the foundation. Can you suggest some which not includes money donated?
Okay, yeah, you know, actually to this kind of organization, I am personally, it's my personal view, it's not related to all my status and all everything which I shared in this webinar. I shared for my personal experience about my personal insight and thoughts. Just my advice, just don't go and don't do some volunteer job for those who offered you the fee. Just make deal with them that you have now this opportunity, you want to gain, and if there will be opportunity, you will be hired, you are ready to pay them, but you don't have money. And if this organization just wrote that, okay, we are helping young generation to get blah 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 blah, you can make a small gumption and say, okay, you are going to help this volunteer, but if to these people, but if these people don't have money, what to do? Or you have to approach to ask them to support you with the letters, and you can approach to the local your businesses to convince them. It's a negotiation skills, it's a very good tool to convince that, for example, businesses, as I ask you for the COP16 coordinator for the climate change, I wasn't able to make there, not because there I was some working process and some visa issues later, and as well the money, but I involved virtually, and I transferred it to the local. I became active in local and it get recognition on locals. And then I was able to approach some institutions to give me the fund to fly for Glasgow. They was agreed to do, but then a visa was later. You have to approach them different organization who can invest money in you and convince them, okay, give. But if the organization offer you, if you want to volunteer, give me money, you first have to say that no, I am not going to volunteer for involved to money when you don't have the skills and you want to benefit and you are volunteering for them for free.
Okay, the next question comes from James from Sierra Leone. Does the Black Sea Young Ambassador organization limited just to the Eastern countries or already globally? If already across the globe, how do we get involved, especially African?
Oh, okay. Very thanks for this question. The Black Sea Young Ambassadors. It's about the Eastern Partnership Black Sea region, but it's not like like limited. We, as I mentioned during the First, my slide about Black Sea. We are the team as well engaged globally for those who are the from ocean related country and ocean related citizens. And what you can do, there is good initiative use for ocean. There is different initiative to be engaged in for African youth. You can part be of the your local community, and with this community make your voice as well participative in the other way, for example for Black Sea countries too. Just approach for the African people to be involved. I advise to you to approach to the ocean related use for ocean related uh, related project, and with the use for ocean related program you can be connected with the as well young ambassadors of Black Sea as well for the Mediterranean Sea, because there is a Mediterranean Sea as well ambassadors. And you know, we are not like limited or because of the barriers of the mountains or seas or ocean. We just cooperate, but we act on our local level and our initiative, and we are going beyond, just to be as an example, because everything is connected to each other.
Okay, Mariam, thank you. The next question comes from Samaila Idris from Nigeria. The question is, what benefit can you get from volunteer? I think what the most benefit can you get from volunteer?
If you listen me, and you could follow the slides, I especially wrote there. Please, can you put those slide back where it can be benefit? I will note this. Yeah, this is one. Look for that. What volunteer can give you when you are volunteering. For example, can you type which profession you are or what you passionate about it in chat? Because volunteer can give you build your self-esteem, your skills, your professionalism, and you can be part of the changing, and it will open your mind. You know, you can feel that okay, you are worth to be listened, you are worth to take action, and you are worth to be supported. Because for example, when I went and asked that, okay, I have not able to find myself to participate in Glasgow, but okay, I do volunteer, I benefit for my country, I benefit to the team we was working, and I can be a voice of from my country. This is why I could convince them. So through volunteering, through the real impact action, you can as well convince people, look, I'm doing great and please support me. And this is the great chance of the leadership which you are building here. And be like world citizen, global citizen. You can be everywhere where you would like to, in every location of your country. Travel even through the program while you are young until 30 years old, because all this program mostly until 30 or during the European Union different have different age limits, but there is a but I would like to say it's not related to age. You did mention there's a one of great organization which I was part to of it. It was Peace Corps. Peace Corps is for everyone, no age limited, and this Peace Corps volunteered abroad from the USA to the developing countries. Maybe there are in Africa too or in your country. Please check them, because Peace Corps as well, the ISEC, Peace Corps, this is as well the good organization which can help you to join them and be part of them. Who asked this? Who asked this question about what benefits volunteer can give?
Idris Nijinyawa from Nigeria. Samaira Idris Nijinyawa from Nigeria.
You can. Okay, in Nigeria there is a lot of existing organization who want volunteers. Even I am part of the Nigeria, one of the GILEN Global Leaders organization as the European coordinator. I have them from Georgia, and they are based on Nigeria in I don't remember the city, but even there is, if you approach them, and there is what Nigerian different organization. I have to look and check it for you later. If you can reach to the Siahaan or to me, I will try to search it for you and give. Or you have to say that volunteer in Africa, because today, tell you true, in for Nigerian, for African countries, a lot of organization is doing the great things. Okay, here is dark. I will take. A lot of organization doing the great things. For example, they need volunteers from Nigeria, and even European Union had a very good program for young change makers. And you could join them, but their deadline finished. But yeah, for Africa, there is completely a lot of opportunity. You have to just find them. You have to just research them, or just, as I told you, find the international organization, you have local organization, conferences, and even approach to embassies to find, because embassy mostly posting about different initiatives they have, but you have to build this kind of on yourself, this skills.
Okay,
And
Mariam.
yeah,
Okay.
what I would like to say that there is one person wrote to me in direct message that thank for the wonderful presentation. It is from Liberia, Bo Akai. How do you help provide volunteering opportunities for patient young people in Africa, especially in my West African country, Liberia? I have a great desire for to volunteerism. And another in private, I have been reached by USA International Youth Association, I think, how universities are involved in international youth groups. Okay, I will start for the first question of the Liberia. How, as I from Georgia, only what I can do for the Liberian youth people and volunteer, I can provide the trainings, can share, and even can find organization to approach them and access there is people, or I can find for you and give. For me from Georgia, it's difficult to help young people to volunteer, but I can engage you. You can volunteer for the COI because we have a lot of people from African continent, from especially from Nigeria, in the climate change. All climate impact related projects is very active in Africa continent. And you can approach from the Liberia. I can only be inspirational for you. I can show that how you can find this way, because I am not in your country, and just approach to those people, and just approach to the use even virtual conferences of the United Nations and to the climate change, and you can find, for example, there is a dialogue of climate change, and you can join from everywhere, even from Liberia. But in Liberia, there is, I think, good experience. You how can volunteer, even from the European Commission. I afraid not to mistake it, but I will try to search it later, and I will send it to the team to Siahaan. And even I can send, if you approach me, I can link to you. But you please feel free to approach to your embassies first. And when people love people who are writing them, who are approaching, who are showing them their enthusiasm, their motivation. And with this kind of tool, when you are approaching people yourself and you are don't waiting someone, it boosts in their eyes, in their views that okay, this person can be benefit and you can trust them, because when you are yourself approaching, the people feel trust to you. About the universities, how a lot of universities students engaged in volunteerism, especially in the from Georgia to the European Union. Unfortunately, universities itself, I don't know how in other countries, but from Georgia and during the European Solidarity Corps, they don't have this kind of partnership. But some youth organization based on the university clubs. They have connected to them because you need someone who will send it. It is mostly youth organization, but they are make different styles but of presentation and engage people. And if you are a university, for example, and you want to send volunteer, you have to start negotiation with the European, for example, from the European Solidarity Corps organization to find a partner and say, oh, I have a student, I can involve them and send you. It's like cross partnership, even from the United Nations. It's up to universities because university is a formal education. And volunteering is mostly non-formal, not profitable experience, and it is not internship. For internship, universities have their agreement with different companies, but for volunteerism, there can be several most open-minded, progressive universities. And I think I answered what's another. There is a lot of messages coming. Okay, someone asking me, send me my email address. I will write it to public now because maybe someone will benefit, but you as well can reach Sia. And even I would like to say that I discovered Sia too, and thanks to reaching me, I didn't know about them. Was in one part WhatsApp group, and even they are offering very nice opportunities. You know, there is an organization, Young Youth Leaders. It is one of the best chance for the African people to be there, from Nigeria, from Asia continent as well. And yeah, approach to the SIA team. They are very motivated. They are very inspired to help guys you. And I think they can be as well the link for you, the bridge for you, and even offer your volunteering to the SIA. I think they will be great.
I'm sorry. I think because the time limitation, I think the question and answer is, and yeah, thank you so much, Mariam. Now the question and answer has elapsed from our second speaker. Let me share everyone the conclusion of our webinar from Mariam. There are several benefits of becoming a volunteer. First, it makes us healthier and happier, also satisfies our life. It increases confidence and creativity and build resume, and it also makes us interconnected with each other. Becoming a volunteer, you can also find yourself and decide the life you want. You help boost your professionalism too and fill your own needs. You can try new things and progress in your professional life. You can be part of the change and know how important you are in the community. And the most important one is just be wise and perceive it is a perspective rather than an unpaid job. There are 5 kinds of volunteering. The first one is skill-based. Volunteering for communities involves using your skills and talents to help others, teach others, and strengthen local communities. The second one is public advocacy. Involves taking action in response to social and civil injustices or changes. The third one is non-profit charity. Help board members organize and guide local community-based organizations. The fourth one is person-to-person. Direct communication such as first aid assistance. And the last one is non-skills. Best community volunteerism. Indirectly interacting with people who can benefit from the service provided, such as cleaning parks, COVID-19 charity, and etc. The presentation and Q&A session from our first speaker, Elif from Indonesia, and our second speaker, Mariam from Georgia, has now elapsed. I would like to thank the amazing speakers, Elif and Mariam, like a quote from Albert Einstein: learn from yesterday, live from today, hope for tomorrow. Together we can. Do not forget to fill the feedback form so you guys can get e-certificate from this webinar.
Please do not forget to fill out our feedback form. The link is also on our chat box. And please don't hesitate to give us your feedbacks about how we can improve our webinars more. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.